what the heck happened? Exactly what I expected to happen in this piece of shit garbage week that I've been living in. The Elgato wasn't being picked up by the OBS, so I had to restart everything, and so I deleted the original live stream page, made a new live stream page. But, that's about pretty much the only way that this week could have ended in a narratively logical way, I guess. But it's fine. It's working now. That's all that matters. So let's go. It's time to do Astro Bot levels. Yeah, that's the long and the short of it of what happened. For some reason, Elgato, the capture card, was not being picked up by OBS. Anyway, I don't expect this to be a very... I mean, it already wasn't going to be a very long stream because there's not many new levels to play. But now it's definitely not going to be an extended period of time. You didn't know Astro Bot got new levels? They did. They added, looks like, 5 new levels to the game. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to play through the 5 new, I think, speedrun levels that have been added gradually over the course of the last month or so. For some reason, they were not advertised during the actual state of play. Also, I have not played this game in a very long time, so I need to refamiliarize myself with how this works. Okay. Hopefully you all had a much better week than I did. This week has been nothing but the embodiment of stress and misery. So we're going to try to counterbalance that with a little bit of Astro Bot. What are my overall thoughts on the recent trailer for Lilo & Stitch remake? It's fucking garbage and I'm not going to see it, but everyone else will. It's going to make $1 billion and Disney's never going to learn. It's just fucking terrible and I hate everything about it. Even beyond the obvious criticisms of how dreadful the CGI looks, it's just doesn't seem like it's going to be particularly good. It seems like it doesn't understand the point of the original. And yeah, I mean, I don't know why anyone expected anything else. I guess the only annoying thing this time is that unlike the Snow White remake, which everyone understands looks dreadful, this time they have Stitch doing cute Stitch things, and so therefore that's enough to make people go, oh my goodness, Disney's back! It's the comeback story of the year, I can't believe it! They've finally come back, they brought my childhood back to me, yay! And it's the same fucking bullshit that made the Lion King remake make $1 billion. Like, oh look, it's the things I remember. It's just depressing and sad and miserable. And I'm sure the How to Train Your Dragon remake's gonna do wonders as well, even though that looks actually even worse than the Lilo & Stitch remake does. Somehow. People thought because they brought the original Stitch Stitch is 100% of the reasons why people are not seeing how terrible the Lilo & Stitch remake looks. But yeah, How to Train Your Dragon just looks... Oh my god. Every line delivery in that trailer sounds horrendous compared to the original. The especially bad ones are our parents' war is about to become ours, figure out what side you're on. It just sounds like every single actor is racing through their lines with no concern whatsoever for pacing things out. Like, instead of, our parents' war is about to become ours. Figure out what side you're on. It's, our parents' war is about to become ours. Figure out what side you're on. Like, no one cares. No one actually gives a shit. And then the one at the end, which by the way, the How to Train Your Dragon remake trailer just shows the plot of the entire movie, which, I mean, most trailers are really bad at not spoiling things, but this one is especially bad. It's just, they show the big confrontation scene between Hiccup and his father. And, which, I mean, I guess it gives you a better taste of just how little anyone gives a shit. Oh, speaking of things that really piss me off, thoughts on Suits LA. It's dreadful. I hate it. It is actually offensive to anyone who is a fan of the original Suits. I watched one episode, I will never watch another. I don't care. I don't give a single fuck about Suits LA. It's done. It's a waste of 40 minutes of my life that I'll never ever get back. It is so blatantly obvious that they are just trying so desperately to siphon as much success out of the original show as they possibly can. God, I hate that piece of shit TV show. There's payoffs in the original Suits that took 5 or 6 seasons to happen. All of them happen in episode 1 of Suits LA. These big, show-stopping moments that leave your jaw on the floor, they're all in the first episode. And it's operating as if you understand it. Like, Suits is, the pilot of Suits is genuinely one of the best pilots of anything that I've ever seen. In terms of how it introduces you to the characters in the world. And then Suits LA just, it's like it's operating as if you've known who these characters are for years, but we don't. We have no idea who anyone is, but it pretends like we do. It feels like a random episode of season 5 of a show like this, except it's episode 1. It's terrible. It's absolutely horrible. And then, like, they have clear stand-ins for all the characters in the original show, except all of them. Like, Harvey has this, or the Harvey stand-in, whatever. I forget his name, and I do not care to figure out what it is. All of the characters from this new, like, Harvey and this new Harvey have a very similar backstory, except they just change. It's like, instead of having father issues, they have mother issues. Or the other way around, rather. I cannot fucking stand Suits LA. It's just, if it wasn't Suits, no, well, I mean, well, I say if it wasn't Suits, no one would care. I say that as if the IMDb rating isn't, like, absolutely dreadful, because everyone rightfully understands how fucking awful this garbage show is. There's no way, it's definitely getting canceled. There's no way. There's absolutely no way it's getting a second season. It's like, and also, the whole point of Suits is that it's a premise, the premise being that it's about a guy who literally did not go to law school, working at a prestigious New York City law firm. There is nothing unique about the premise of Suits LA. It's literally just a legal drama with nothing original to bring to the table. I don't understand. It's just, like, people think the only reason anyone enjoyed the original Suits is that, I guess, it's just a legal drama, and that's it. That's the beginning and end of what people enjoy about that show. It's not, obviously, but, you know, people are stupid, so they think that it is. Is Suits LA written by most of the same writing team? I have no idea. I just know that it's made by the same showrunner, which is, I don't understand how that's possible. The only way I can explain it is that he just went, oh, they want me to make it. Because, like, Suits LA never would have existed. Let's be perfectly clear about this. Suits LA would never have existed were it not for the massive resurgence in popularity that Suits got because of it coming out on Netflix. And I'm starting to think that was it did more harm than good. One, because the only thing anyone ever talked about when that show came out was, oh my god, Meghan Markle, isn't she so hot? I watched Suits for the Plot, and it's just a picture of Meghan Markle, because I fucking... yeah, it's just really cool. It's really cool that that's what people took away from Suits, was just that's the beginning and end of what people took away from that show. But it got... And then on top of that, it's like, oh, wow, maybe people actually like Suits. Let's immediately scramble to make a show capitalizing off the popularity of this show. It's really frustrating. So they got the original guy back, and I don't know if he lost his touch or if he just doesn't care, and he's like, oh, you want me to make a show, another Suit show? Okay, copy, paste, Mad Libs, just take all the greatest hits from the original show, cram them into one episode. People love it. Have I seen The Wire? No, but my dad says it's one of the greatest shows of all time. Oh my god, you gotta watch The Wire. Please watch The Wire. It's literally better than every single show you've ever seen in your entire life. So maybe someday I'll watch it. If I shoot myself in the head. Have I seen the Plankton movie? No, and I probably won't. On Dying Light, I don't have one. I know of its existence. And that's about it. Have you seen the Goldbergs? No. Thoughts on the leaked Powerpuff Girls trailer? I have no investment in the Powerpuff Girls, so I didn't watch it. Thoughts on Sonic Racing Cross Worlds? I don't know, I didn't do the beta test thing. My favorite thing to cook? I don't know. I guess chili. But I don't particularly enjoy the act of cooking. I cook what I have to in order to eat. From a pure basic survival sustenance level. But I am far from a pursuer of the culinary arts. A little bit of frame drop there. Why do games that do beta tests always give it to YouTubers with millions of subs? Because it allows the maximum amount of eyes on their product at once. But also, I do know people who got into the test who don't have millions of subs. But that would be the reason why they would do that. What do I prefer, Claus or the Santa Claus? I haven't seen the Santa Claus, but I severely doubt it can be better than Claus. That's my favorite character that J.K. Simmons has played. Cave Johnson. But his best performance is easily as Terrence Fletcher in Whiplash. Am I gonna see the new Looney Tunes movies in theaters? Yes. Because I would like to support more movies like that getting made. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to make a lot of money because most people don't even know it's in theaters. Warner Brothers has done absolutely nothing to market it. Which you'd think they would, considering it's Looney Tunes. But also it's for that very reason that they wouldn't want it to succeed. Because Warner Brothers is fucking terrible. But yes, I will definitely be going to see it. Assuming I can find time to see it. Because there's a lot of editing I need to get done. And trying to find time to do that. It's easier said than done. Favorite Roblox game? I don't play Roblox. In fact, I've never played Roblox in my life. If I ever played Poppy's Playtime when I do an LP series or a live stream, if I ever played it, which is a tremendously large if, it would probably be in an LP. As far as hand-drawn animation or computer, it doesn't really matter as long as the story is good, but I feel a desire to advocate for hand-drawn animation, considering the fact that there really is not a huge market for hand-drawn 2D animation anymore, which is a shame. Which is why it's important for people to go out and support the new Looney Tunes movie to show studios that people do actually want to see 2D movies, but that's probably not going to happen, which is a shame. So if you want to see more 2D hand-drawn movies, go see the new Looney Tunes movie. Is Pitch Perfect 2 worth watching? I mean, I need to rewatch the Pitch Perfect movies, but I'd go with... Sure. I mean, I enjoyed watching it when it came out. It's certainly leagues better than Pitch Perfect 3, not that that's a huge bar, but if you enjoyed the first movie, you'll probably enjoy the second one. I think I don't really remember much of the second movie. Like, really at all. Trust me, I'm never forgetting the third movie. Rest assured, the third movie is never leaving my brain, unfortunately. But the second movie, I really have very, very little memory about what happens in that movie. The first one's solid. First one's a solid movie that I could recommend to anyone. What's a Vivzy Pop controversy that pisses me off the most? I guess the fact that she's in as much controversy as she is, I guess. The hate I've seen for her is, without a doubt, the most overblown thing I've... Like, the level of vitriol people have towards her and everything she makes, just on principle, is utterly ridiculous. So I guess that would be my answer. You didn't miss much. I did 2 levels. I did 3. This is number 4. I did the dog dash one, the cockadoodle-doo one, and then the monkey cymbal clapping one. Should you stop waiting on a new SE like Toy Story 4? I am currently in the process of making a massive love letter to Toy Story 3. It just takes a while to make videos that are 6 hours long. Why does Vizzy Pop get so much hate? I have no idea. But then again, on the other end of the spectrum, I saw someone make a 2-hour video criticizing Hasbin Hotel's writing, and someone on Twitter posted saying, "What kind of absolute loser makes a 2-hour video on a show with only 8 episodes?" So, you know, that's the other side of the spectrum. That's the kind of people that are, I don't know, I'm so fucking sick of the discourse surrounding all of it. Gun to your head, next project has to be less than an hour long. What would I cover? I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably just make up some bullshit. Because none of the actual projects I would want to work on are things that can be reduced down to an hour or less than an hour. So it'd probably be, I don't know, a review on a movie, some random movie I saw in theaters recently. My voice sounds really deeper. Sure. I fully caught up in Hell of a Boss. Yep. Seen both seasons in their entirety. I've not seen any of the shorts. Don't have a desire to, but I've seen both seasons Start to finish, for better or worse. Thoughts on Elliot before it releases in June? Apparently, Adrian Molina is no longer the director. Apparently, it's been passed to the director of Turning Red, which makes me unfathomably angry because Adrian Molina not only was the story artist responsible for Woody's escape sequence in Toy Story 3, but also he was the co-director of Coco, and I was really the only thing what I said forever was, regardless of what Elio is, the one thing that is making me want to go see it is the fact that Adrian Molina is the one directing it. But that's not true anymore. My understanding is that it was always his original vision for a story that he was finally getting able to step into the director's chair. But now because Pixar is a fucking hellscape right now, he's been dethroned from the position and replaced with Domi Shi. So, I guess right now, my thoughts are, on principle, I'm already biased against it. Final thoughts on Hell of a Boss is that it is one of the most wildly inconsistent shows in terms of tone and story direction. They keep throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And also they've thrown basically every character out the window in favor of centering everything around Blitz and Stolas' relationship. So if you were a fan of any of the other characters, sucks to be you, I guess. It's especially annoying when one of the biggest payoffs of the final episode in Season 2 revolves around Octavia, and she's barely in the season. Thoughts on the Bayverse for Transformers? I have not seen any of them. Can Toy Story 5 surpass the trilogy? Theoretically... Well, I mean, I don't know about the entire trilogy as a whole, but can it be as good as or better than any of those movies individually? Theoretically, yes. It's got a lot working against it, considering how awful Toy Story 4 is and how much it's screwed. Well, whoever, like, the decisions made in writing a Toy Story 4 permanently screwed whoever was responsible for writing the next one. You stopped watching Hell of a Boss after Apology Tour. Was irredeemable at that point for you? Which one is that? Is that the one where Blitz goes to the party where everyone hates him? I don't know, it all kind of blends together after a while. April Fool's 2025, how Toy Story 3 sucks. I wouldn't even know how to make that video. Like, I knew how to make a video, an April Fool's video about Toy Story 4 because I knew all the defenses people tried to make for that garbage movie. But I wouldn't even, and I've been exposed to the pitiful attempts people make at criticizing Toy Story 3, and I'm still just like, why does it auto-lock you into the center every time you fucking slam on that stupid thing? April Fool's vid, Owl House sucks. Another video I just would not have the capacity to make. I mean, I could do it technically, but it would involve me saying things that I would not be cool with actually saying. Like, the obvious route to take, if you were to make an April Fool's video shitting on the Owl House, the obvious route to take is to do, like, the stuff that, like, it's like when that one person made a video around the time Enchanting Gromfright made out, like, this show is satanic and antichrist or whatever, showing two girls dancing. So like that's the obvious easy route to take as far as just making a video parodying those who hate that show. Because a lot of what I've seen does come from people being like, hey, oh my god, did you get your feewees hurt that I criticized your lesbian Wonderland show? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Amphibia is so much better, by the way. People actually think that? Oh, man. Oh, you have no idea the shit that some people, some very specific people say about the Owl House and Amphibia. You have no fucking idea. It just immediately communicates to me that you weren't either, one, either you're a lying scumbag, or two, you just are terrible at actually paying attention to the things that you watch. When you say shit like, how is Luz able to do magic when she's holding Ida's staff when the whole point is that she can't do magic? As if it's not implicit, like, as if they don't explicitly spell out to you that there's magic in the staff. But, you know, that will require paying attention to the show, and we don't do that around these parts. Paying attention is overrated. Have I seen people claiming Pixar died after John Lasseter was removed? I've seen a lot of people saying that John Lasseter was the anchor holding Pixar together from a quality perspective. But I don't know why people think that. Because, one, he made Cars 2. 2, some of the best stuff Pixar's done has come out after John Lasseter. 3, he's not, like, a god. Like, yes, he had his hands in he had to wear a lot of hats when he was working at both Disney and Pixar. But he's not the magic story duct tape guy that just fixes everyone's problems. In fact, I think a lot of I'm pretty sure there was a thing with Bolt where there was going to be a completely different thing, a story for Bolt, and then John Lasseter changed what it was supposed to be. I don't know what the original story was going to be, but I'm pretty sure that was a thing. Okay. Okay. Am I okay? You know, it's just been a really shitty week. That's all. It's just been a really terrible fucking week. What made the week so shitty? A lot of personal stuff that I really don't feel like getting into right now. On top of the stress that's been editing the Toy Story 3 video. Have I played more Split Fiction? No, I have not. I don't know when I will play that game again, but I would not expect a stream on that game for a very long time, at the very least. Thoughts on adding AI to films? Be careful with your wording, because the difference between machine learning that's used to make the animators' lives easier and generative AI that's used to replace the jobs of animators. Because the people who worked... Why does this thing just never charge when I want it to? The people who worked in the Spider-Verse movies used machine learning to minimize the redundancies and the tedious aspects of animating a movie of that scale. Like, basically, any kind of tool that's used to make an artist's life easier is something that is more than able to be encouraged. But any kind of generative AI is not anything I ever want to encourage in the filmmaking process or any kind of artistic process. The problem is that people will often just blanketly say AI is bad, and that's the beginning and end of the thought. Which is not productive in furthering discussions about the use of AI in art. And I don't know that's it's not necessarily a part of like the fault of the people in question. It's just that people just don't. There's a lot of buzzwords and talk around the use of AI, so a lot of people just don't know the difference. They're taught to know they're taught about all the dangers of using generative AI and how bad it is for the environment, but they kind of just categorize everything as that is AI into that. It all falls into that umbrella to them. So I would just encourage you to be careful with your wording, but specifically generative AI is something I don't want to see become normalized. The point of AI should be to create ease, not replace skill and creativity. Yes. Unfortunately, that's primarily what the discussion is centered around, is greedy business executives trying to cut corners as much as possible. And for that reason, I also don't really blame people who do have a very blanket, like, for people who say all AI is bad and they don't have the qualifier, but they understand the difference. I don't necessarily blame them for saying that on principle, just because they've been, like, they're so burned by how business executives are trying to use generative AI to replace artists that it sort of makes them biased against any form of AI tool whatsoever. So I understand where people are coming from that perspective. Thoughts on time travel and stories? It depends entirely on the execution. But if you want me to try to make a general statement, time travel being introduced at the 11th hour to solve everyone's problems like Avengers Endgame, not a great idea. Time travel being the basis of the story is a lot more acceptable, so long as you write it well and your rules are consistent. But a lot of times people don't really care to make the rules consistent. What was the first Walt Disney Animation Studios movie I ever saw? I don't remember. It was probably either Aladdin or The Lion King. But truthfully, I do not have vivid memories of anything like that. For English, you did a speech about a chosen subject. Yours is about AI and its misuses. Everyone's was 3 pages. Yours was 10 pages long. Did you get docked points for that? Because in my experience, if you go beyond the limit that they ascribe to you in, like, when I was in high school, if you ever did anything longer than they wanted you to, you get docked major points for that. Because, you know. Well, I was going to say long bad. I guess in that case it's less about long bad and more about making sure they can get through everyone's speeches and presentations over the course of a single class period. There was one person who's... Well, I wouldn't say their speech actually went on for 10 minutes, because it didn't. It's just that they forgot their speech, and so they stumbled around a lot and fumbled their way through trying to deliver something resembling their speech over the course of 10 minutes. And no one really held it against him, because he kind of rolled with the punches and made the best of the situation and made it a pretty fun time to listen to. But the teacher was fucking furious with him, because she's a terrible teacher and everyone hated her. She absolutely should not have still been working at that school. What I say is the appropriate age to watch my content. I never really thought about giving a proper age limit or age guideline or age suggestion. I mean, the kinds of stuff I make is the kind of stuff I was watching in middle school and high school. Like, this type of video with this level of vulgarity. fact, I probably watched no, I definitely watched way more vulgar stuff when I was in middle school than whenever my parents walked into the room and saw me watching it, they would be very... I had to secretly, like, they banned me from watching the stuff I was watching. So what I had to do is I had to, every morning before school, I would sneak into the living room, use my mom's iPad, hide under the blanket, put the volume at, like, 1 notch above 0 on the iPad, and then just watch it there. So, I don't know. I really have not given any serious thought to what would be an appropriate age level for the content that I produce. Cliches I can no longer stand. Second act breakup / third act misunderstanding, whichever name you prefer. It's by far my most hated thing. Guess he's just gonna chill there. Do I have gambling money? Let's find out. I'm glad that 100% doesn't involve getting all of these things. Because that'd be depressing if you just had to sit here forever and grind out all the coins to unlock all the gacha balls. I'm glad the platinum does not require that level of commitment. Have I ever been addicted? Not like clinically. I'm sure you could say I've been addicted to certain shows or games or movies. But in the... because I don't want to devalue what that word means. So in any serious context, no, I've not been addicted to anything. I mean, because people will colloquially say I'm addicted to this or that in terms of like referencing media they enjoy. And you could certainly say that about... What is this guy doing? Oh. Alright. Oh. You could certainly say that about me, and I imagine most of us could say that about ourselves for any variety of different things. But as far as, like, serious problems, like serious clinical medical problems people have about any kind of dangerous substance, no. Favorite VR game? Resident Evil 7 VR. If you don't count that because it's not technically that's technically a VR mode for a normal game and not a game that was exclusively made for virtual reality. Then I guess I'd go with Vacation Simulator. I'm seeing a lot of people surprised by the amount of cameos they have here. So if this is your first time seeing this, then yeah. If you grew up on lots of PlayStation icons, first party or third party, then... Or even if not even necessarily that, if you just play Fall Guys, you know, that this guy's here, he's doing things. There's lots and lots and lots of cameos in this game across the entire video game landscape. Of course, there is a lot of Sony exclusive people here. We have good old Spyro. Who, of course, is no longer a Sony exclusive, but once upon a time was. The Last of Us people are here somewhere. The Uncharted folks, I think, are around here. Like, this is, I believe, is the Uncharted section of the map. You got Joker from... Okay, well, there was Joker from Persona. There he is. And I think Teddy from Persona 4, who people have very strong opinions about. Obviously, I'm dressed as Ratchet from Ratchet & Clank, Sly Cooper. Lots and lots of cameos everywhere around this place. The idea of the game is that you go around to lots of different planets, and you rescue all these bots. And if for some reason you have not heard of and or played Astro Bot, if you have a PS5, then there's no question about it. It's absolutely worth the price of admission. Can I justify purchasing an entire console to play this game? No. But if you have the console, then there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. What's good? Astro Bot, that's what's good. What are my overall thoughts on Over the Garden Wall? One of the best animated shows I've ever seen in my life. Go watch. I mean, I was, like, really late to the party with Over the Garden Wall, so, you know, I guess it's sort of a thing where it's like, yeah, we know. But if you haven't watched Over the Garden Wall, you should. Extremely sophisticated, extremely competently plotted, accomplishes so much. There's only 10 episodes, each of them is like 10 minutes long, and it genuinely has more substance than a lot of long-form shows I've seen. Thoughts on these 5 levels? They were fun. Good challenge. Glad I played them. Hopefully they keep making more until we get an inevitable Astro Bot 2. They'll probably put they probably have plans for 2 more. They'll probably put one down here. And then they'll probably put another one over here. And then I guess they can keep expanding out on the sides because they have the Christmas level over here. They can keep going for a while. And of course it is space, so they can always make the map bigger. Over the Garden Wall might as well be a 100-minute long film. I don't know if I'd say that, because the structure of the film, or what? The structure of the show is definitely becoming of a television show, and that each episode you have, like, it's a really interesting balance where it is a Monster of the Week premise, and yet, in spite of that, it still has a very clear narrative running through it, and it's very, very seamless with how it balances those two things in a way that you kind of don't even realize that that's what it's doing. So, but that's not, I mean, you could easily make it a 100-minute film. Like, you could definitely turn that into a tight feature film. But also, I think a lot of why it works is, like, it definitely benefits from the structure of being a series instead of a movie. But I'm not going to say that it's impossible for you to make it great as a film. Hi, Evert. Unfortunately, you missed the whole stream. We're just kind of messing around now. I played all 5 levels. They were good. And now we're just messing around. I don't know how much longer I'll hang out for, but I do have lots of things to get back to. I have a lot of editing I need to get done for Toy Story 3. So much as I'd like to commit to weekly streams, I don't know how viable of a possibility that is, because I have so much to get done in such an incredibly short amount of time. But I will do what I can to provide a stream every now and then. Expectations for what's next? You mean like in life or for the game? 'Cause for the game, they'll probably just keep making weekly rollouts of bonus levels until the sequel comes out. I'm guessing they have one team dedicated to supporting this game, and then another team, another bigger team dedicated to making the next Astro Bot. You thought I wanted to make more time to cook? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Best interpretation I have is I think you're saying, didn't you say you wanted that it would take as long as it would need to come out? And while that is true, there is also, you know, I don't want to be doing this forever. I don't want to be working on this video forever, so I have personal deadlines for when I want to get things done by. I just don't tell anyone what they are so that no one gets disappointed. Like, for instance, there was a point in time when I was trying to get the Toy Story 3 video done as a Christmas surprise last year. That obviously didn't happen because I decided it was, like, it would have been mathematically, even if I worked around the clock all day long throughout all of December, it would have been physically impossible for me to get that video done up to the quality standard that I would have been happy with. So it's kind of the same thing with this, in that there are targets that I'm shooting for with getting the video done by. Because it's been almost a year since the last big video came out. Am I excited for an Astro Bot 2? Of course I am. Did I hear about the storm this morning? No, I didn't. I very much do not remember how I did this the first time. I guess it was like that. Is everything okay? Yeah, yeah. It's just been a stressful week is all. But yes, everything's all right. There was a massive storm in your state this morning. I hope you guys are doing all right in that case. I did not hear about anything of that caliber, but hopefully you guys stay safe. Everything worked out? No. Everything is not worked out. Thoughts on the first two Sonic films after rewatching them? I definitely think less of the first movie than I did originally. And the second movie, my thoughts are pretty much the same. Have I seen the new horror film, The Monkey? Yes. It's alright. It's kind of a mixed bag. Hello. Not sure what he's playing, but he's having a good time. Gran Turismo, I think. Unsure. But yeah, the Monkeys. It's I'd still probably recommend it. It's very uneven. It's kind of all over the place. It doesn't necessarily. It's not a particularly satisfying movie. Like, it doesn't necessarily wrap up in a particularly cohesive manner, but it's a good time. I said it's Final Destination with a monkey, and it's not to get you to watch it. Yeah, it's basically that. Really, the plot is paper thin, and the characters aren't like that great. Some of the deaths are kind of funny, honestly. It's definitely a horror comedy. Like, there's a lot of... It balances horror and comedy, not necessarily that well. Like, there's sometimes where it'll pass the baton between the horror aspects and the core aspects really well. Sometimes some things are really funny and some things really don't land. And honestly, I'd say more of it doesn't land than I would say it does. It misses more often than it hits. But I'd still recommend it. You heard they couldn't use the symbol monkey because Disney somehow copyrighted the design for Toy Story 3. That may or may not have something to do with why I wanted to go see the movie in the first place. I'm not saying I wouldn't have seen it were it not for that controversy. But, you know. Oh, and I think this is the Resident Evil part of the map. The hell is this? Interesting. I have no idea what all this is. How's on the Bad Boys films? 1 is good, 2 is insane. It's a very... It basically becomes a completely different movie right in the third act. But, you know, it's kind of entertaining for that reason. 3 is quite solid, and 4 is probably the best one. No way people in chat remember characters from PlayStation All-Stars. Hey, You know, for some people, PlayStation All-Stars was their childhood. I guess. There's plenty of obscure things that I remember that most people don't. How did I do this the first time? That's how, I guess. You expect them to keep pumping out content until the 1-year anniversary? Maybe even longer. I mean, we probably won't get another Astro Bot game for like 3 or 4 years, if I were to guess. I don't know if they'll support it that long, but I can see them doing it. It's not like they don't have unlimited amounts of creativity they can unleash into this game. It does make me wonder if they'll do anything more substantive for updates for the game, like if they'll have a more elaborate story DLC, kind of more reminiscent of the main levels. Like maybe one extra world full of hidden bots instead of individual speedrun type challenge levels. Oh, and then of course here's the Ratchet & Clank crew. And Rivet, of course. Because Rift Apart is the best game in the franchise. Of the ones I've played. Maybe that'll change when I get to Tools of Destruction and Quest for Booty and Crack in Time and Into the Nexus, I think, are the 4 I've yet to play. We're already halfway through March. I know. It really feels like just yesterday the year began. And I was doing early prep work for Toy Story 3 video editing. If I were to be a part of the creative industry and make a film and or show it, I still make videos on the side. If I had time to do so, I'd love to. I just don't know. I mean, like, Rebecca Rose, who started out as a YouTuber focused on Owl House content, who then became a production associate on the Owl House. She tried to keep up doing content on her channel, but it just wasn't sustainable with the amount of workload that working in animation presents. So, I guess I'd say I would try, but why is there just a bathtub here? Alright. It's a bad movie. I think it'd be worthy of a commentary. Oh, there's plenty of stuff that would be worthy of a commentary that you'll see one day. I was trying to see what he was playing there. Not you having not heard of Over the Garden Wall until right now. Alright, I guess that's one more thing we will have to trade someday. Because Over the Garden Wall is fantastic. I mean, to be fair, I hadn't heard about it either until earlier this year when I was watching a charity stream that Dana Terrace and Alex Hirsch did. And I think someone asked Alex about his thoughts on Over the Garden Wall, and he said it was fucking phenomenal. So that immediately was like, alright, that's going on the list. Did I hear about Unleashed Recompiled? Yep, I sure did. I heard about Unleashed Recompiled, and also I've seen all the discourse that Unleashed Recompiled has resurrected regarding Unleashed Drift, with people saying, this drift is bad, and then people saying in response, no, you're just bad at using the drift, and then they reply with a video of them being expertly skilled with using the drift, and they go, yeah, well, you're still wrong, because that's the only defense they have, and once they run out, they have nowhere left to go. You haven't played many VR games, so probably FNAF VR, I guess. That's another... Yeah, Help Wanted and Help Wanted 2 are also up there. I don't think they dethroned Vacation Simulator or Resident Evil... Well, no, they definitely wouldn't dethrone Resident Evil 7. Or Vacation Simulator, or Budget Cuts, or Budget Cuts 2. But yes, Help Wanted and Help Wanted 2 are definitely solid contenders. Also, yes, I'm reading all the messages. I'm just trying to catch up on all the things that I missed. On a completely unrelated note to Addiction Balatro, yeah, I don't think that's the kind of game that would get me addicted from what I know about it, but I do know that it's been like crack for a lot of people. A lot of people I know who have lost their lives, or a huge chunk of their free time, I guess I should say, to Balatro. Glad people are enjoying it. It's definitely not something that I would play myself. So I'm going to start to wind down here any second now, so I'll close out of the game. Admire all the 100% and trophies I've earned. Why am I not going to play Split Fiction for a while? Well, like I mentioned previously, there's a lot of editing I need to get done for the Toy Story 3, and Split Fiction is not a game that you can... Like, I don't intend to stream today for much longer. I've only been going for, like, an hour and 20 minutes, which is pretty short as far as streams are concerned. And even this, I'm like, there's so much I gotta get done today. And Split Fiction is not a game that I would want to just jump on for an hour and then go away from. It's the kind of thing that you should experience in extended chunks of time. So at the very least, I can say that until Toy Story 3 is done, I do not think I am going to be willing to play any game that require... Like, I would love to do a Sonic Heroes stream. Well, I would love to fulfill my obligation to replay Sonic Heroes sometime this month. I just don't think that's feasible with how much I still have left on my plate. And that's a game that... I mean, not that I do the whole thing in one sitting, but I would at least want to do each story in one sitting. And the amount of time it would take to beat one of those stories is, with the exception of, I guess, Team Rose, is probably around the amount of time I would also be willing to dedicate to Split Fiction, and I just don't have that kind of time right now. Is one of the reasons. Do I like rhythm games? Yeah. Oh, Beat Saber's another one. Beat Saber is another top contender for, like, best VR games I've played. Beat Saber is... Now, that's an addicting game. Beat Saber is addicting as hell. I think I still... I guess, like, here, let's take a browse down my, my games library. Let's, yeah, I'll just do my whole collection, I guess. How do you sort here? VR. Do both 1 and 2. Alright, let's see what we got here. Battlefront has PSVR. Alright, didn't know that. Definitely not that game. Nope, I forgot this game even existed. It's not very good. Eagle Flight is a cool idea. Basically, you simulates what it's like to fly as an eagle. Extremely nauseating experience. Do not recommend. Wayward Sky's cute. Cute little 2-hour puzzler. I don't think I ever played this. Why do I have Infinite Warfare? I don't own this game. I've never purchased Infinite War. I do not understand. Maybe they made a free VR mode thing for Call of Duty. View product. Yeah, I don't own... Ah, here we go. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Jackal Assault Experience VR. Okay, that would explain. This is probably when I first got PSVR and I was just downloading a bunch of shit. Yeah, that would explain a lot of this. Here They Lie. I should come back to this game. This was really interesting when I first played it. Ancient Emulator apparently does not have... It is not backwards compatible, so I guess I can't play this game because I don't own a PS4 anymore. But it was kind of a wave defense style thing. Have I watched The Day the Earth Blew Up? No, but I want to. I absolutely want to, because I want to support more hand-drawn 2D animated movies, especially since Warner Brothers has done absolutely nothing to market the film. So yeah. Starblood Arena. I think I remember playing this for about 10 minutes and quitting because I got motion sick. Nog is a pretty underrated little puzzle game, and one you don't even need VR to play. You can play it in flat screen mode. You definitely lose a bit of the atmosphere if you play it in flat screen mode, but I still recommend it. Carnival Games VR. I really only have this because of nostalgia, because I played the original Carnival games on Wii as a kid, which is not a very good game at all. But, you know, I wanted to see the VR version, and the VR version is definitely an improvement in the original Wii version. Never spent much time with Tumble VR. Batman Arkham VR is really cool experience to do once for the story mode and then once for the Riddler puzzle stuff. But that's really it. It's not very well. I mean, it's replayable for me because I love experiencing those kinds of cinematic experiences again and again and again. But the average person would not want to play this more than once in their life. Windlands is really awesome, but also really, really motion sickness inducing. So proceed with caution. Super Hot VR is one of the best VR games I've ever played. That one's up there. I Expect You to Die, another great one. I Expect You to Die 2 is probably even better. No, it's definitely even better. I haven't played the third one yet, but I want to play the third one. Don't know anything about either of these two. Rick and Morty Virtual Reality is probably the closest I'll ever get to watching Rick and Morty. And it's a very good game made by Alchemy Labs, also responsible for Job Simulator. The OG VR game. Like, the Job Simulator was one of the very few launch titles for the HTC Vive, which I think was the first big consumer-friendly headset that got released. Fishing Master, kind of like Carnival Games VR, it's just I played the original Fishing Master on Wii and I wanted to play the VR version. Pretty much all the charm was gone on the VR version. Accounting Plus is a really stupid game, but I kind of love it all the same. Rec Room is fun. It's a sort of online multiplayer thing. You go and you play a bunch of sports with other people. Beat Saber is obviously top tier. PlayStation VR Worlds is pretty cool, but it's really only worth it for the London Heist and for the Ocean Descent stuff. Danger Ball, VR Luge, and the Scavenger's Odyssey all suck ass. Well, okay, Danger Ball's fun. It's just not worth... It's not much to it. But the London Heist and Ocean Descent are pretty awesome. I don't even want to talk about this. I installed this because obviously I played all the other Danganronpa games. So I figured, hey, I should play the VR version. And then I'm just like, you know, maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Maybe I have better things to do with my life than... In fact, I'm getting this off my console. Can I... Unless it's not installed. It says it's installed. I'd like to get this off my console, please. Where is it? There it is. I guess unfollow. That's a thing that exists? Unfortunately, yes. Thoughts on Stray? Never played it. I've not played Stray, but I know everyone loves it. But if you want to talk about cats going on adventures, you should watch Flow. Oscar-winning Flow. Absolutely, 100% deserved. Thoughts on a Minecraft movie? Everything I see from it looks worse and worse, and life's too short to waste watching shit I know I'm not gonna like. How's the Danganronpa VR experience? I don't know. I've never played this. Goodbye. PlayStation VR demo disc. I miss demo discs. I discovered so many awesome games through these. I wish more of these things existed. Help Wanted 1 and 2 kind of speak for themselves. What a fucking mistake Budget Cuts Ultimate was. Such a colossal disappointment. Two of the best VR games I've played utterly destroyed by this dog shit collection. Resident Evil Village is a game I have very complex feelings towards. But the VR, specifically the VR mode, I mean, it's kind of clunky. Well, no, it's really clunky, I'd say. But the game itself is... Oh, RE Village. Why? You know, I have a whole LP on this game. You can go check that out if you're curious. I spent like 2 hours venting about all my complex feelings towards this game. Before Your Eyes is phenomenal. This is one of those things that every single person deserves to experience before they die. And you might say, well, I don't have PSVR 2, how can I do that? You can play this, I think, if you just have a webcam. I'm pretty sure you only need a webcam on your PC to be able to play this game. Or maybe even the webcam on the PlayStation. I'm not exactly sure about that. But you don't need VR to play this. It helps, of course, but it's not necessary. And every single person watching this deserves to experience Before Your Eyes before you die. It's that good. Is it just you, or has my voice gotten older? It's the second time someone's mentioned this today. I don't know if it's my voice getting older and more just, like, me being more relaxed on live streams. Because I've gone back to... Well, this is going to sound weird as soon as I say it. I've listened to some of my older live streams out of curiosity. And I kind of sound like I'm constantly strained. I don't know how to explain it, but, like, it always sounds like I'm screaming at maximum capacity. Or it always sounds like I'm trying to yell everything I say across the room. It kind of sounds like I'm just continuing the manner of speaking I have from stuff like the Toy Story 4 series or the Incredibles 2 series, whereas nowadays I'm more generally relaxed on live streams. So that could be it. I don't even want to... I'm trying to work up, like, the mental space to try to emulate what my voice used to sound like. But you could also just go watch my older live streams if you want to see what I'm talking about. I also talked a lot faster. I mean, not that I don't talk fast now, because I'm just a naturally fast talker. But, like, I'm me, and even I couldn't fully understand some of the things I was saying in older live streams, because I was just rolling around at the speed of sound with how fast I was talking. Have I seen Flow? Yes. And it's absolutely amazing. Can't recommend it enough. It actually deserved the Oscar win. Even aside from its quality, I'm just happy it won on principle. So that more independent games... some more independently made, small-scale, low-budget movies can get the spotlight just as much as big-budget productions like Inside Out 2 and The Wild Robot, which, for what it's worth, Wild Robot is a masterpiece. It's an amazing movie, and you should all go watch that too if you haven't. But I am happy to see that it wasn't a mainstream studio like Pixar or DreamWorks that won the award. It was a very, very small team that just had a vision that they wanted to deliver on, and they succeeded. Why is Great Circle unavailable for this console? I think it's coming to PlayStation soon. I think they said it would be available on PlayStation after a few months. I don't know exactly when it's coming out, but I'm pretty sure it will be on PS5 at some point. Ever played Crash 3? No. Someone would have to trade it with me if I was ever to play that game, but I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that because I don't anticipate me really enjoying Crash 3 all that much. Wasn't the whole thing that Great Circle was an Xbox exclusive? Well, yeah, but there's a lot of Xbox exclusives that have gone to other platforms. And I'm pretty sure they did say, you know, let me look it up. Because I'm pretty sure Great Circle coming to PS5. A PlayStation 5 version is scheduled to release in early 2025. So it doesn't really... It looks like it has a page on the PlayStation website. Actually, let me just... I might be able to search for it. Yeah, there it is. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. An epic globetrotting adventure, release coming soon. No clue when it's coming out, but it'll be here eventually. What do I think of Leon Kennedy so far? Oh, right, VR games. I forgot. Resident Evil 7, masterpiece. Best horror game I've ever played. Hands down, bar none. Resident Evil 4, I really want to play this game. I really, really want to, because it's currently the only other Resident Evil game that you can experience in VR. But it is so tonally detached from Resident Evil 7. So I've just come to terms with the fact that what made me love Resident Evil 7 is not what Resident Evil is typically known for. It's not really known for being a psychologically driven horror experience. It's known for being a very, very action-focused game. So that's partly why Village didn't appeal to me as much, and it's also why Resident Evil 4 is really not grabbing me. That on top of it just being really clunky to play in VR. But I don't really have any thoughts on Leon Kennedy so far. And I guess to wrap up the final few, Vacation Simulator is amazing. Astro Bot Rescue Mission is really good. Rush of Blood is fine. I started replaying it last year after I finished the Until Dawn remake, which, holy shit. And it's not as good as I remember it being. It's all right. It's passable. It's an enjoyable experience. It's just not something that I would like. You don't need to go rush out and play this game. Hellbound and 2 is amazing, and Alien Rogue Incursion I've heard not great things about, but I really want to play it because it's in VR and it's an Alien game. And apparently it's only part 1, which I didn't realize when I bought this. In fact, can I view the product? Okay, it does say part 1 on the store page. I don't think this game was marketed as being a part 1, though. I mean, it has good reviews on PlayStation, but that does not match the general consensus that I've seen from people who've played this game. Anyway. Are there any films I love from franchises I couldn't care less about? Nothing immediately springs to mind in that department. Unless you count... The only thing I can think of immediately is if you count The Last Wish as being a part of the Puss in Boots franchise. Which... I mean, it's kind of a stretch because it's really a part of the Shrek franchise, and I definitely give a shit about the Shrek franchise. So I don't think I'd really count that. And, yeah, nothing else is really... I guess maybe Top Gun Maverick, although it's hard to call it a franchise when it's just the 2 movies. But I really don't care that much for the original Top Gun. But Top Gun Maverick is one of the best films I've seen in my life. And one of the best theater experiences I've had in my life. I'm so glad I got to experience that movie in IMAX with a full theater. Much better than the remake, though? Yes. How about Into the Spider-Verse? I guess kind of. But it's not like, I mean, I don't know. I don't lack care for the Spider-Verse series. In fact, my disdain for Across the Spider-Verse, or I guess not disdain, but my disappointment with Across the Spider-Verse comes from how much I adore the original movie. So I don't know if that really counts for the purpose of this query. Have I watched the Plankton movie? No, I have not, and I probably never will. Favorite Pokemon? The starter Pokemon in Pokemon Sword. I forget its name. I feel bad. I called him Bubble, I think. I don't know what its actual name is. Starter Pokemon Sword. Sobble, that's what it was. Sobble. I like Sobble. Sobble was cute. We like Sobble. Thoughts on Secret of the Mimic? I need to see more from it, but really, I just feel disappointed. The Five Nights at Freddy's franchise has kind of lost its identity. For as amazing as Help Wanted 2, it's still pretty firmly rooted in the original gameplay premise of the original. But Secret of the Mimic seems more reminiscent of Security Breach in that it's free roam. And like the idea of Security Breach was pretty cool, in that it's, you know, taking the franchise in a new direction and letting you roam around a free a giant open environment such as the Pizzaplex. But I've come to realize that while that's a cool idea on paper for like a spin-off, what made Five Nights at Freddy's so special was that it was so different from the other types of survival horror games where they just dump you in in a giant environment that's kind of interconnected, sort of like Resident Evil 7 with the Baker House, or Resident Evil Village with the Village, the name of which I don't remember. So yeah, it feels like the original identity of Five Nights at Freddy's has been lost over the years, which is a shame. But I mean, I'll still play it. You know, it's not. I'm not going into it expecting it to be terrible, because Help 1 and 2 was so great. So my faith in Steel Wool has been restored as far as their ability to deliver a quality product. But it being a quality product and it being a good FNAF game are not necessarily the same thing. But I don't know. I guess the way I square that away is that the original FNAF story kind of ends with Ultimate Custom Night, and whatever Steel Wool does now is their own thing. Because Security Breach was bad as both a FNAF game and just a game. Like, it didn't function. So if Secret of the Mimic can at least do one of those things right, you know, it's already a step up from Security Breach. You thought I'd say Joker? Well, the thing with Joker is that it's not a film I love. I respect it and I appreciate it, and I would sing its praises endlessly, but I don't love Joker, right? Like, I love Claws. Claws is a movie that I adore. I don't love Joker. I respect Joker. I appreciate that film. I don't necessarily have that same feelings about other types of movies. Have I played Catherine Full Body? No, not yet. But I will. It's part of a trade. I wanted to play it a lot sooner than this. But, you know, plans changed. They always do. Rank Alien? You see, you think it'd be easy because I've only seen 2 films. But I don't know. It's hard. Because I really love both Alien and Aliens, but they're so different. Like, Aliens is a fantastic action movie, but Alien is a fantastic horror movie. So they're kind of totally different beasts. I don't know. They'd probably balance out to be around the same. It just depends on what kind of experience you're looking for. Because there is an atmosphere to the original Alien that is kind of unparalleled. And that atmosphere is what Alien Isolation was trying to capture. And it did a fantastic job of recapturing that atmosphere. So I don't know. Maybe I'll give a slight edge to the first Alien just for that alone. We're just going to pretend Alien Cube doesn't exist. Yes, Avert, we are in fact going to pretend Alien Cubed doesn't exist. Because fuck that piece of shit, dog shit movie. Life is better when you pretend Alien Cubed doesn't exist. It literally opens with throwing away the ending of Aliens for no fucking reason at all. Alien Romulus isn't good. Interesting. I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people really hate it, and some people are like, man, this is a return to form for the Alien franchise. So I don't know, it's a interesting experience, I guess. The US box office Tools of Destruction is a lot better than the EU one. Oh, I'll take your word for it. The hell is Alien Cubed? It's Alien 3, but instead of it just being Alien 3, it's Alien Cubed, like to the power of 3. And it's not a good movie. return to form being that they just rip off the original film. So I've heard, that's another thing I've heard, is that it's like, it's the best way I've heard it summarized. Well, I say best as if I've seen the movie, but a quote that gets circulated a lot is that it is a greatest hits album created by a cover band of the Alien franchise. Is the way I've heard that movie summarized. The prison movie? Yes, the prison movie. Have I played Lego Horizon Adventures? No, I have not. Thoughts on Ace Attorney Investigations collection? Haven't played it. I'm currently in the process of replaying through the Phoenix Wright trilogy. And once I finish that, I will then finally revisit the Investigations games after far too long. 4 or 5 years. Do I love The Dark Knight? Yeah, I'd say so. It's tough to say whether I like The Dark Knight or The Batman better. It really is a tough call to make. Again, for the same reasons as the Alien movies, because they're both so good, but they're both very different types of movies. I think I'd give the edge to the Batman, but I'm not completely confident about that. Have I played any LEGO Dimensions games? Unfortunately. I might even still have that in my game library. Let's see. It'd probably be towards the bottom of the list if it's most recent. Nope. Or maybe not. It should be here. I guess not. Weird. Maybe I deleted it out of embarrassment for owning LEGO Dimensions. But yeah, I did play LEGO Dimensions. Not a fan of it. I don't like. It's having to fumble with toys on the portal pad while you're playing the game is really, really annoying. I played FIFA 2016. I didn't play it. It was purchased for me. Because I got the PS4 for Christmas in 2015, and I got a couple games to go. I was gifted the Star Wars Battlefront bundle, and then along with that, I got FIFA 16 as a game to play. Maybe even Just Cause 3. No, Just Cause 3 I rented. I rented this game on Redbox. Remember Redbox? I rented Just Cause 3 on Redbox to see what it was like, and then I never touched it again. So I guess I did play FIFA 16 at least once, because it would have had to have been after I rented this. But not extensively. No, actually, it probably would tell me how long I played it, right? An hour? That's way longer than I would have thought. I did not think I played this game for a full hour. But the most of my hours come from playing FIFA 14 and 15 on the Xbox 360 with friends and family. What the fuck is a red box? It's basically, they would have literal red boxes in stores like Publix, Walmart, gas stations, convenience stores, all that kind of stuff. And be either inside the store or outside the store. And you'd walk up to it and you'd select a movie or a game you wanted to rent. It would physically, it's like a vending machine for movies and games. You'd pick what you wanted to rent. It would slide out a cute little red case. You take it out, watch it, bring it back a day or two later, insert it back into the machine, and then it's done. It was a really, really cool system. I loved Redbox so much. Someone asked if I was addicted to something earlier. You could say I was addicted to Redbox. It was really cool, like actually selecting what you wanted and watching the movie get delivered down outside the machine and then physically inserting it back in. It's pretty cool. I played a lot of cool games and watched a lot of cool movies thanks to Redbox. But, you know, that ties into a wider discussion on how physical media is kind of being phased out in favor of just renting things on streaming. Alright, I think I'm going to wrap things up here. I'll just answer these last few questions, and then I'm going to be on my way and jump back into the editing mines for Toy Story 3. Okay. Have I played Cosmic Shake? Yes, it's good. Not as good as BFBB, but it's a worthy spiritual successor. Do I think adaptation is being completely different from the source material in terms of its goal is an inherently bad thing? Not necessarily. It just means it's a bad adaptation. It doesn't mean, because being a good adaptation, being a good story are two different things. You can be extremely faithful and still be bad, and you can also be completely unfaithful and still be good. There are instances of both of those, and then there are also instances of things that do both of them poorly. Like the Halo show is bad on its own terms and bad as an adaptation. Am I going to continue my commentary on the rest of the Star Wars films? Absolutely not. Good luck with the remaining progress. Thanks. Was it about Brazilian funk music? No. And that'll be it for now. Shorter stream than usual, but also longer than I intended to go on for. I just figured I'd hang out and chat for a bit, so that there was a little more meat on the bones of the stream. And now I gotta fix all the metadata for the stream, because I threw this together in a hurry after the first attempt at this crashed and burned. So I gotta get the thumbnail and the description and the title and all that sorted out. Hopefully you all have a good rest of your day. Hopefully you all have a good rest of your week. Don't know when the next stream will be or what the next stream will be about. But, hopefully sooner rather than later. Alright, have a good day, everybody. I will see you soon.